Hi, my name is Dr. Therese Hauswaricki with Healthy Choice Family Chiropractic in Hudsonville, Michigan. And today we are going to talk about how to boost your immune system in 21 days. Now, let's be honest, this has been quite the year for colds, sicknesses, flus, strep, and a whole lot of stuff going on. So, we want to talk about how you can boost your immune system and how you can work towards not becoming part of that epidemic. We know that on an average year, a child will get 8 to 10 colds per winter. Now, that may be the norm, but that is not normal. What we know overall is that really your body is extraordinary. Your body has an innate intelligence to be healthy. Now, genes are the blueprint for that potential in your life, but it is your environment, so what you choose to do on a daily basis, that dictates how your genes function and how healthy you are. Now, your body is designed really to survive and reproduce. I mean, this takes us back for generations. This is what our body has always been designed to do: survive and reproduce. So, the top two things that your body is always going to work towards doing is surviving and reproducing. Now, we are going to start with three big thoughts and ideas. And really, these are the principles that we are going to keep coming back to today. So, first, your sickness. Now, getting sick is part of getting healthy. Now, I know that might sound odd or you're even a little counterintuitive, but stay with me here. Now, has anyone, have you ever had food poisoning before? Now, isn't that horrible and really the worst feeling overall? Would you say that when you had food poisoning that you're getting sick? Well, what happened there? Didn't your very smart and intelligent body recognize that you ate something, whether it was some bacteria or whatever it was, but it wasn't supposed to be there? So your intelligent body, as a result, wants to get rid of that non-self protein as quickly as possible, which is why you'll have vomiting or diarrhea or upset stomachs. That is your body being smart and expressing its intelligence. So when you get a fever, coughing, mucus, aching, that's your body mounting its defense against whatever it has come in contact with. This is what you're hardwired to do. It is all part of your body building its defense mechanism. So when you're getting those symptoms causing you to feel like you are getting sick, that is actually your body getting healthy. So we need to redefine and start speaking body. We need to start listening to our bodies and recognizing what our body is trying to communicate with us with these symptoms that we're experiencing. Because really, is our body smart or is it stupid? It's smart. So we need to listen to our body and recognize what our body is trying to tell us, and really that what we need to do to change our environment, because our body is not being able to adapt to something in its environment appropriately. I mean, that's your body's basic way of saying, hey, I got a problem and help me here. Second, you are a car battery. Now, who of us is guilty of burning the candle at both ends? I know I definitely am at times. Now, we need to understand that we are magnificent, but we also have limited resources at any time. We have limited time, energy, focus, and money. Those are limited resources. So let's start with talking about energy. Now, you are a car battery. And we're all familiar with our batteries in our car, right? There's wires that go from that battery and that goes to all the different systems of our car that are needed to make our car run well. It starts the engine, runs the radio, turns the lights on and off. Now, there's a certain amount of voltage that our battery can supply to all the systems at any given time. That's the max output of energy. Well, your body is like that same way. Our body is a complex system of systems that all interrelate, but also all stand on their own and have different demands on the body. The energy, or the resources of the body, are going to get sent to wherever it needs it. Now remember the tendencies of our body, the need that we have to survive and reproduce. That is what determines a hierarchy of needs. So your body will send its limited energy in different directions. Your digestive system makes demands on energy, your musculoskeletal system, your reproductive system, and about 82% of your energy is spent regulating your body temperature alone. Now, all of these systems are demanding that energy, and we are finite beings. We have a finite amount of this renewable energy. Now, third, you don't get sick. you do sick. Now, I have all the respect for the 1% of individuals who are born into sickness. And those are the individuals who do have some sort of genetic disease or condition. But can we talk about the other 99% of us, though? And for those 99%, it is our choices. It is the environment that we put ourselves in that influence our health. It is the choices that we make that is why we don't get sick. We do sick. And once we feel sick, we just didn't start doing sick. We have been doing sick for the last few weeks or longer, and now we are reaping the benefits of that. And what we know also is that health compounds over time. Now, that doesn't mean that health is just 1 + 1 + 1 = 3. It is 1 + 1 + 1 = 100. And it is you on the other side of that, and you making the toxic and deficient choices in how you're eating, moving, and thinking that will reap the rewards of compounding sickness. So for tonight, we are specifically going to be talking about what you need to know to help optimize the function of your immune system. And we're going to start with food, because most people get the concept that there are foods that are healthy for us to eat that fuel our bodies, and that there are few foods that are toxic and deficient. If you provide the essential elements that your body needs to be healthy, then you have the best chance of expressing health and being healthy. If you're missing any of these essential elements, then you develop deficiencies. So if you're missing anything, for example, if you're making a recipe and you're missing one of the ingredients, then you're not going to get your desired outcome. So if you're trying to make chicken noodle soup, and let's say you're missing chicken, do you think you'll have chicken noodle soup? No, that's an essential element to that soup. Same goes for your body. There are essential elements that your bodies and your cells must have to reach and achieve the desired outcomes of health. On the other side of that, there are toxic elements that you can put in your body with how you eat, how you think, and how you move that are inherently toxic to yourself and can derail your health and create sickness and disease over time. So looking at the 3 categories of your life, where do you think the toxicity is and where is the deficiency? Specifically when it comes to food, your immune system is a big draw on the energy of your body. With going back to the car, your immune system is like the air conditioner. It makes a big demand on the energy of your body. Because it has a big energy draw, it requires a lot of your nutrients. So your immune system is going to get a large draw of the nutrients, so of your vitamins, minerals, and essential nutrients to allow it to function. And really, your immune system wants whole foods, nutritional dense foods. These are going to be your fruits, vegetables, your nuts and seeds, your lean cuts of free-range grass-fed beef, wild game, so like deer, wild fish, organic eggs, etc. These are the foods that your ancestors grew up eating and provide a large spectrum of vitamins and minerals in a very dense state. The foods that you're going to want to avoid are the highly processed foods. So when you think processed foods, I want you to think of foods that have been stripped away from their essential nutrients and prepackaged in such a way so that they won't spoil on the shelves. Now, toxic foods and whole foods, there is a paradox in the American diet. And I'm not the purist in my diet in any sense, but there tends to be a compound of bad choices. So people tend to be filling themselves full of toxic foods, so more of those processed foods, instead of eating the whole foods that your body requires. So people are not filling themselves with the foods that contain the vitamins and minerals that your cells need. So it's pretty much a 2-punch to your body. You're getting high amounts of toxic foods, low amounts of whole foods. Now, I'm not telling you that you can't ever make bad food choices. What I am saying is that people are making continuous bad food choices in lieu of making choices to eat the nutrient-dense and rich foods that our cell and immune system needs to function. So what we want you to do is do this. We want you to keep your diet style simple. You want to make sure that you're getting plenty of the lean cuts of meats and really a plant-driven diet style with plenty of vegetables, which are filled with fiber, phytochemicals, and nutrients that your body requires. You can have some nuts, seeds, fruits, but you just want to try and stay away from those simple sugars and carb-loaded foods. Now, if you're fighting something, so if you're already doing sick, you want to make sure that your diet style is super, super simple and keep it more of a plant-based diet at that time. Now, remember, the immune system is a very energy-rich system. If you have a heavy meal like a big roast, that is going to pull a lot of the nutrients away from your, or sorry, a lot of the energy away from your immune system and direct it towards your digestive system. So if you start to feel like you're fighting something, stick to those nutrient-rich foods that will be easier for your body to digest, like your vegetables and your fruits, and make sure that you're drinking plenty of water. Now we're going to talk about sugar. Now, it is essential that you understand the relationship between sugar and your immune system. Everyone knows the relationship between sugar and diabetes or sugar and heart disease, but a lot of people do not know the relationship between sugar and your immune system. Your immune system is made up of multiple organs and different cells that travel through your body and your blood to find and recognize foreign bodies like viruses, bacteria, or fungi. One of these specific cells is called a leukocyte. They work with vitamin C in your body to perform something called phagocytosis, which is basically the leukocyte recognizing the non-self protein, so like the virus or the bacteria, and surrounding that and basically eating it or absorbing it and breaking it down. So it's kind of like it travels around, finds that little bacteria, gives it a big old hug, absorbs it into itself, and works towards getting rid of it. Now, vitamin C and sugar are very close in their molecular structure. So when vitamin C goes to a cell, so it can be used, glucose and vitamin C, since they have a very similar structure, they compete with each other for absorption into the cell. Now, your brain runs on sugar, and because of that, your body prefers sugar to vitamin C. So when you have large amounts of sugar, you will actually inhibit the function of your immune system because your body will absorb more of the sugar instead of the vitamin C. And when you're not absorbing as much of the vitamin C, then you are shutting off how those leukocytes can work and reducing their ability to act like those little Pac-Men and eat all the bad floating things around in your body and your bloodstream. Also, when you introduce sugar to your bloodstream, you are spiking your insulin. Insulin is a stress hormone and puts you in fight or flight mode. And that's going to increase the sympathetic mode in your body. And we'll talk about your sympathetic portion of your nervous system. We'll go into just a little bit. So with sugar, what we want to do is we want to reduce our sugar at all times. Because whenever you eat sugar, you're basically telling your body that you're in the mood to be immunocompromised and shutting down your immune system and making your body more susceptible to infection as a result. If you are sick, then you want to totally avoid it. And then, just resolve to become resolute with it. And this is not easy overall. I mean, I'm definitely someone who battles with sugar and can be a self-proclaimed sugar addict at times. But we know sugar is really bad for our body. It's sugar that is behind obesity, cancer, heart disease, and we really need to get on the other side of it. Now we are going to talk about good old sleep. Now we are hardwired to sleep in a rhythm. There are thousands of generations that came before us, and how they slept is that when the sun came up, they woke up, and when the sun went down, they went down to sleep. Now that is how we are hardwired to sleep. But I really don't know anyone who sleeps like that. And we know that we could really have a whole workshop about sleep. But for today, we're just going to talk about how sleep impacts your immune system. What we need to understand, though, is that the rhythm thing is really ingrained into us, and it affects something called our pineal gland. That is a light-sensitive gland, and what it does is it converts serotonin, which is your feel-good hormone, into melatonin, which is your mellow-feeling hormone. And you have this beautiful rhythm that you create based on light. Now, obviously, we have moved away from this because we no longer let light dictate our sleep. And our sleep schedule usually shifts based on whether it's a weekday or it's a weekend. So with our lifestyle choices, we have kind of destroyed this overall. We also need to understand, though, about our sleep cycles. Now, you have REM cycles and non-REM cycles. When we first fall asleep, we fall into our REM sleep. This is our lighter sleep, which is when we dream. Then, as we continue to sleep, we fall into a REM and non-REM mix. This non-REM sleep is our deep sleep. Now, that deep sleep is a really beneficial sleep. It is that non-REM sleep or our deep sleep that is when our body heals and repairs. So the longer we're able to stay in that deep sleep, the better. What we know also is that sleep impacts our hormones, especially cortisol, which is our stress hormone. Cortisol plays a big role in a lot of our disease processes, especially our chronic diseases. What you will naturally see is that when you wake up, you should have a naturally high cortisol level. This would allow our ancestors to be, alert and wide awake first thing in the morning to go hunt and gather and do all of what they had to do. And then it would taper down throughout the day. By the end of the day, your cortisol levels would be low and you'd be able to rest. Your serotonin levels would kick in, and you would get those would get turned into melatonin, and your body would be able to heal while we slept. But now we have introduced a whole lot of stress to our lives. Chronic mental, social, and emotional stress. So now what happens is that we have constantly high cortisol levels all day and into the night. And we are hitting the bed still high on the cortisol levels and all ramped up. That cortisol drives you into a sympathetic or fight or flight overdrive on a chronic basis. And what happens when we are in fight and flight is your blood pressure is going to go up, heart rate will increase, muscle tone will go up, memory goes down, your eyes bug out, and you dump a lot of sugar and fatty acids into your bloodstream for an overall energy response. That is certainly not getting you ready for bed. What we want to see is a healthy sleep cycle so we can get the cortisol levels back on track and our immune system response back on track. Because remember, when you're in fight and flight, our immune system is not ready to fight a bacteria. Instead, your body's really transferring all that energy so you can fight a tiger. And when you're in that fight or flight response, like we said, the energy is being transferred from your immune function, so your immune system causing that to go down. And that energy is instead being transferred over to your muscles, to your heart, to other areas because your body feels like it's going to go off and fight that tiger instead. This results in a downregulation of your immune system, which can cause us to become immunocompromised because we know cortisol downregulates our immune system. So at night, when our bodies, and it's time for our cortisol to come down and your hormone system to reset, so our immune function can increase again. So for those of you who are not sleeping, are not taking time to sleep, know that you are keeping a high cortisol level and downregulating your immune system as a result, which is making you more susceptible to infection. You're also increasing your overall risk for heart disease, diabetes, and obesity. So what we should be doing is getting 7 to 8 hours of sleep a night from at least an immune system perspective. Also, we need to try and do a little e-fast. So who is guilty of having your phone, iPad, or computer and using those technologies with their bright lights shining in your face right until bed? Well, we need to shut off those bright lights and give our brain a chance to fast from those bright lights before we go to bed to try and get the best sleep. You want a nice dark environment overall to sleep in because remember that pineal gland is light sensitive and it will literally change your hormones if you have those bright lights coming in your eyes when you're trying to sleep, and it's going to stop you from producing that melatonin. You also want a really quiet space, almost like a sleep sanctuary at night. You want to watch out for any emotionally charged conversations or interactions at the end of the day because once again, those interactions can end up throwing you more into a fight or flight zone. That will definitely disturb your sleep. Also, if you're exercising late in the day, you can disrupt your sleep pattern and become more restless at night. Now, if you're not working out or exercising on a regular basis, your mind may be exhausted at night, but your body may not be, which can cause your body to wake up, especially in the middle of the night, and then you're just laying there with your body wide awake, which then causes your mind to kick in, and at that point, there's no hope. So ideally, you want to make sure to Really work towards shutting off those electronics overall for at least about a half hour before bed. Use that time to read a book or to journal. Even write down some of your things from the day, what you're thankful for, what happened, and some challenges that you experienced. That can allow you to be able to kind of exit those things from your mind, allowing your mind to be able to relax more before bed and get you more into that reduced stress state. Now, another thing is nerve irritation. Subluxations in your middle back or your thoracic spine. Now, if you're someone who tosses and turns all over the place, you could have a subluxation in your thoracic spine or your middle back. And really what your body is trying to do is it's trying to find a spot to lay so your nerves can breathe, which then causes you to flip-flop all night. So if you're definitely noticing that, make sure to let your chiropractor know. Also, nap every day. Now, I am definitely someone who loves naps. And honestly, after researching for this webinar, I'm going to make sure I take more of them. Because research has shown that 100% of people could benefit from a nap daily for as little as 15 to 20 minutes. It gives your body and your brain a chance to reset overall, especially in the middle of the day. Now, exercise. Now, when we talk exercise, the research has shown that walking as little as 3 times a day for 30 minutes at 3 miles per hour can improve your heart health and your overall health and give you the overall benefits of exercise. Now, can you imagine then what the benefits of actually exerting your body would look like? It's 10 times the benefit for sure. So when we talk about exercise, the important thing is to just move. So do something. Whether it be walking or lifting or yoga, you just want to do something. You got to be moving every day. It is a nutrient that your cells expect. It is a required nutrient, a required essential element. Your muscles expect to move as much as your body expects oxygen. So you got to do it every day. Now, your hormones. Your hormones are in a constant state of flux, and they adapt to everything. It is your body's way to adapt to what's going on in your internal and external environment. Your hormonal system needs to be reset, and it expects you to be exerted on a normal basis. It expects you to move. And really, you need to move to control your hormones. If you don't control your hormones, you can't control your health. Until you get control of the 3 big hormones, insulin, glucagon, and cortisol, you cannot control your health. All of that happens throughout your neuroendocrine response that happens in exertion and in rest. So you must move. Also, your lymphatic system and circulation system. Your general circulation increases when you exercise because really you're bringing more oxygen to your tissue. Also, your lymphatic system, that's kind of like your trash compactor system, right? Your lymphatic system is also being upregulated or increased overall when you're moving. And the lymphatic system allows your body to be able to really remove some of those toxins that it's trying to get out of itself on a daily basis and work towards processing those out of your system and your body. So really, it's just as important as your circulation system. Now, if you are sick or you're fighting something, don't move. Rest instead. Now, remember us talking about that battery. Your immune system, like we said, uses a lot of energy. You want to allow your immune system to have that energy. And if you're working out hard, it's going to pull from that energy. So you want to let your body rest, especially when you're doing sick. So just go home and take that time that you'll be working out and sleep extra instead. And overall, listen to your body. It's bad enough that a lot of us feel like we have to go to work when we're sick. But when you are sick, that's your body's way to try and tell you to go in a dark room, to lay down and to rest. Let your body use that energy with your immune system. Let it focus on healing and repairing your body. If you try and push through, that's when a 4-day cold can turn into a 12-day cold. In timing, watch working out at the end of the day. Because sometimes when we exercise, even though it's good stress, it's still our body recognizes that as stress. That can increase your cortisol levels, put you more in that fight and flight mode, and then that can throw off your sleep patterns overall, especially if you're trying to exercise right before bed. So make sure you at least give some time for your body to unwind. Now, stress. And right now we're going to be focusing more on that mental stress because we know sources of stress overall are chemical, physical, and mental or emotional. Now, our ancestors were not exposed to this chronic type of stress that we have nowadays. They just didn't have it. They had famine, yes, but how our bodies respond to stress now is the same way that our bodies used to respond to famine. There's elevated levels of cortisol, which create basically a body like you're trying to survive a famine. It will go into fat storage mode. So like we said, that's going to be with a prolonged stress response. So it's going to be the same with that emotional stress. It will throw you into a fat storage mode. Now, most of us know what this looks like as increased amount of belly fat. So it's when someone has a larger belly and they're lean in most other areas. So there's an increase in that overall belly fat. This is caused by high cortisol levels mixed with high sugar levels. So when your body is under chronic stress, you have chronic higher cortisol levels. It knows that it's going into survival mode, so it thinks that you're in a famine, and your body will store more visceral fat around the abdominal area so that you can survive the famine and really still walk. When you have more of that visceral fat, it puts more pressure on your abdominal organs, specifically on your kidneys, and it will cause your kidneys to release a hormone that will drive up your blood pressure. So now you have elevated blood pressure along with the higher amounts of fat, and that's where belly fat is a good indicator of a risk of a heart attack. Now, cortisol, again, is a stress hormone, and when it is chronically high, your body will think that you're running from a tiger or trying to swim away from a shark. Now, it doesn't want to then use that energy or the energy of your body to focus on fighting an infection. So as a result, your immune system will be shut down, so all that energy can be going into your fight or flight response. That mental stress will drive up the cortisol levels and then suppress your immune system as a result. And will everyone agree that this can be a cause for about 90% of the immunocompromise that we experience nowadays? And then when you allow or you add into that the lack of sleep combined with all this stress, what do you think all that's doing to our body? So what we need to do is we need to unplug. So don't throw yourself back into all the stress. You got to unplug. Sit back, curl up in your comforter, unplug, and take some time out of that stress environment. We neuroadapt to our stress. And what I mean by that is, have you ever walked into a room and you realize that the room smells, right? And then about 15 minutes later, you can't smell it anymore. But then someone else walks in the room and they're like, what is that smell? Well, we're like that with our stress. It's called our allostatic load. We are used to having such a high, heavy load of stress that when we even have a little less stress, we think we're having such an easy day. But compared to what our body is designed to take, it's still a lot and way too high. One of the quickest ways to reset your cortisol level, though, is just to laugh. So make sure to spend time around the people that you have fun with and that you can laugh with. You should have those people around you all the time. They should be part of your regular circle. You should be spending time with people that you want to be more like and really that you have a mutual respect for. And attitude can also play a big role in our stress. Now, our circumstances can definitely be challenging. I'm sure that we've all had a time when our circumstances were challenging. But you know what? There may also be some things with those circumstances that you can't change. But what you can do and you can change and control is your attitude. You get to choose your attitude. You may not be able to change your situation, but you can change your attitude. And even though with the attitude change, the situation can remain the same, but it will change your experience in that situation. Now we're going to talk about subluxations. Now know this, when you're fighting something or you're already sick, make sure to increase your adjustments. Now I want you to understand why we're saying that. Your nervous system is the master system of the body and it runs all over all other systems. And it certainly has an impact on your immune system. I am sure that you're all familiar with our 5 senses, right? Touch, smell, sight, sound, and taste. But there's also a 6th sense called proprioception. Your proprioception is controlled by your joint movement. There are sensors on all of your joints. And when you move, it sends information up to your brain to let your body know where all of your body parts are. It sends that information up to a part of your brain called your cerebellum. Now, when your body moves, you stimulate proprioception in your cerebellum, and that movement reboots your system and drives you from fight and flight into more of resting and relaxing. In other words, when you're in that stress state, you're immunocompromised. When you're in your relaxation, repair, and reproduction state, you're fighting off all those pathogens. Movement helps your body go from that stressed and immunocompromised state to the relaxing and repairing. Now, the most dense population of those proprioceptors are found in the joints of the spine. And the greatest population of them in your spine is in the upper part of your neck, or your upper cervical spine. When the body moves through a normal range of motion, it pumps proprioceptive information to your brain. When the joint is out of alignment and stuck, it's fixated. And because of the swelling, it not only stops that proprioceptive stimulation to the brain, it also causes a stimulation called nociception. This in turn increases cortisol because of the increased stress on the spine and the nerve irritation. Now, when one of those joints of your spine is out of its correct alignment, it causes soft tissue damage, and this can be caused by bad habits or bad positionings or bad work positions or trauma or just life. And when you knock one of those joints out of its healthy position, it causes soft tissue damage, which puts pressure on the nerve and causes nerve irritation. But it also causes joint fixation, meaning the joint can't move. That's called subluxation. And it's when those subluxations exist over time that eventually your body will move away from health and that joint actually deteriorates. And that's called osteoarthritis. That causes an issue that compounds and creates more fixation, more loss of range of motion, more loss of proprioception in your body, and your body can start to lose its ability to come out of its stressed, immunocompromised state, and therefore won't be able to move into that resting state. So when you have these subluxations, what you want to make sure, number one, is to get your spine checked regularly. The relationship between a healthy spine and nervous system has drastic impact on your immune system. If you want to have a healthy body, you have to have a healthy nervous system. If you want to have a healthy nervous system, you have to have a healthy spine. If you have an issue with the spine, it will impact your nervous system. And if you impact your nervous system, that will impact your overall health. Now, if you're getting sick, you want to increase your frequency of adjustments. You even can get adjusted several days in a row when you're sick. And really, that's what I do when I'm sick. I mean, I've even got adjusted in the morning and then again at night, just to help boost my body's function and help my body be able to heal and repair as quickly as possible. And so obviously, if that's what I'm recommending for myself, that's definitely what I would want to recommend for any other individual. Now let's talk supplements. Everybody loves it when we talk supplements. Now you must first recognize your deficiencies. We must realize that we are missing some vitamins, even with the best lifestyle. But nowadays, even with the best lifestyle, there's still some toxicities and some burdens on our bodies that we have to recognize and reconcile those deficiencies by adding some additional supplements. And these are really the supplements that are essential to ourselves and to how our body can function. Now, these are really wellness supplements that we recommend. First is going to be an omega-3 fatty acid. You got to do your fish oils, especially for your arteries and any plaquing that can happen with your arteries. What you want to be taking is at least 3 to 5 grams of fish oils or of omegas for an adult. That's what we recommend. And that's a combination of EPA and DHA. Also, probiotics. Probiotics are the normal flora that you should have in your body. They are the friendly bacteria that live in your gut lining and gut walls, and they are there to compete against other pathogens that could harm your body. They help your body keep the optimal pH to aid in digestion. They also are part of your immune response. You want to make sure that you are regularly populating your gut with the bacteria that should be living in your digestive tract. Now, the things that will kill off your gut flora are antibiotics, chlorinated water, which chlorine is in any regular tap water, alcohol, emotional stress. And if you're fighting something, you are going to really want to increase those probiotics more so you can ramp up that good gut flora. Now we're going to talk whole food supplements. So a whole food supplement is really real food and it replaces your multivitamin. It is processed so that you get the real benefit of fruits, vegetables, and nuts kind of compacted in these vitamins. It is the whole food that's compacted in the vitamin, in the supplement, I should say, not just synthetic vitamins that are mashed together. Now, vitamin D. Vitamin D is usually what you get from the sun. But let's be honest, people, we live in Michigan. At this time of the year, we're not getting much sun. And even when we do have sun, it is way too cold for us to go outside and stand there with the majority of our body uncovered so that we can absorb some of that. All right. This is the time of year when you really should be ramping up your vitamin D intake. What I recommend is that every adult takes at least 5,000 IUs of vitamin D a day. Now, what supplements can you take when you're already working on fighting something off? First, you can take garlic. Garlic helps to boost your immune function overall. Also, you want to increase your probiotics. Now, I'm horrible at pronouncing this next word, so siliconium. And now what that is, it's a homeopathic remedy that can be especially helpful in fighting off flu-like symptoms. So if you feel any flu-like symptoms coming on, it's definitely going to be a supplement that you're going to want to start taking right away. Also, echinacea is another supplement that you can take to boost your immune function. Now remember though, this is an outside-in solution. So this is for when you are really already sick, right? Or you're doing sick. And we've drawn that battery down. And as a result, we finally got sick. And these are things that can help us out at those times. But ideally, we don't want to wait to get sick. We want to be doing all those other positive things so we can keep our immune system boosted so that we never do sick. So overall, really in summary, what do you want to do if you're already doing sick? Well, first, you want to rest. Limit your exercise, right? You want to allow your body to be able to take that energy, put it with your immune system, so allow your immune system to function as best as possible. Also sleep, and sleep as much as possible, right? Sleeping is when our body, like we said, heals and repairs. So we want to make sure that we're sleeping and sleeping a lot. Also get extra adjustments, right? Like we said, the nervous system controls how our whole body works and functions. And we know that if we want a healthy nervous system, we need to have a healthy spine. That's what those adjustments are going to help for and help with. Also, you want to limit and avoid stressful situations because that's going to put your body in that fight or flight mode, right? And that down regulates your immune system. No sugar. Drink plenty of water. Eat a lot of simple, nutrient-dense foods, which some great examples are broth, so like bone broth, soup, vegetable-based smoothies. When you're doing a smoothie, especially if you're doing sick, you want to make sure to keep it high on the vegetable side. Because if you just pack it with just a ton of fruit, then that still can boost or can elevate your sugar levels with your blood. So that's why you want to make sure to, be putting a larger amount of vegetables in there. And really, you can add vegetables like spinach or kale and not even be able to taste that they're in your smoothie. Also, we just went over some supplements. So make sure that if you are doing sick to be getting extra probiotics, that you're taking your vitamin D. You can even try, the garlic, echinacea, some of those other things that we were talking about. Also, give your body time, right? Give your body time to heal and time to fight this off. And really give it the time to allow it to work how it was designed to. Because like we said, our body is really smart, right? It was designed to fight these things off naturally. And by doing the things above, that will really help your body overall. Now, if you do have any other questions about how to boost your immune function or even questions about just some of the things that we talked about today, definitely you can contact myself, Dr. Therese, at Healthy Choice Family Chiropractic at 616-426-8500 or by email at info@healthychoicefamilychiropractic.com. Thank you for joining us for our webinar tonight. Next month's webinar will be about bulletproofing your lower back. So hopefully we will get to have you join us then also. Have a wonderful evening.